All right. Hey, everybody. My name is Lisa. This is take two. This is Wellness Wednesday. It feels like it's been a little bit since we've come on here live, and so we're excited to be back with you guys. In case you're living under a rock and you don't know that October is Wellness Wednesday. I'm doing it again. That October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I'm going to get it together, you guys. I'm distracted by Joy's beauty. Y'all can't see her yet, but I'm distracted by her beauty and her smile. This is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. However, we are so grateful to have a guest speaker with us today. Her name is Joy. I'm going to let her tell a little bit about herself, but she does not have breast cancer. Or she didn't have breast cancer, but she's going to tell you what she had and some other tips and encouraging words for you guys. If you don't know Joy, and by the way, that's my middle name, so I've always felt a little bit of a connection with Joy, but if you don't know Joy Bragen, she's just the sweetest thing. She prays just the Holy Spirit just washes over you. And I tell her every time she prays for us, I always message her, don't I? I feel like I always message you because I feel led to do so. That she is the sweetest friend with the sweetest heart. And we're so grateful that she's coming to share her story with us. Not only about how the products have helped her, but also just her journey through cancer. So I also want to throw this in. If you don't know that we have a great breast cancer awareness, it's all cancers, but because it's October, it's breast cancer awareness, but we are wanting to bring awareness to that with Plexus. We are making some donations. If you have not seen the Braven Strong bundles, they're the active and the collagen bundles. You can get $3 donation for every, my light's coming up, for every bundle that you get, or $1.50 for every single product that you get for the breast cancer awareness products. So if you have any questions, let us know, or you can type in the comments if you have any questions, if you're watching this live on Healthy Starts here. So with no further ado, I want to bring in Joy. I'm going to ask her a few things. You can go ahead and mute yourself, sweet girl. There you go.
No. Hey, thanks so much for having me. And thank you as always for your kind words.
You like how I fumble your introduction there?
Hey, no, no, you don't need an introduction.
Who needs a perfect introduction?
Nobody,
don't get one
right?
here,
Nobody,
right?
Not at all. Just one person sharing their story of courage and hope with other people. So that other people will have hope and have encouragement, right? That's right. Really
and you know what I'm noticing is our hair is the same, and we did not plan this.
We didn't. It's part of the same, right?
But look how long your hair is and how shiny it is.
It is. It's time for some highlights for sure.
Look how long and healthy it is. I love it.
I'm so thankful to have a head full of hair. That's for sure. There was a season when I did it for a while. And so it's, I was telling somebody else the other day, another acquaintance, another friend, but was actually going through, got a report put in today, just a few years older, but ovarian cancer came as a shock, total surprise, all the things, all the emotions for sure. But I was telling her the other day, I was like, I said, here's the thing. She's like, how did I not know this about you? Like, how did I not know? And I was like, look, I was like, different seasons, different things. I was like, but no one's going to know unless you don't have hair, right? Or unless you're on someone's prayer list. But no one just walks in a room and is like, oh, her with the point, she's had cancer before. Like, no one knows. That's not the way cancer works, or it is. So I was like, you carry around scars that are internal, not always external. And I was like, so it'll forever be with you, but it won't forever look like it's with you, just from the outward appearance. And
you have really carried that with such grace. Anybody who knows you, I know, would attest to that for sure. Tell me, or tell us, right. I know the answer, but tell us. So you didn't have breast cancer. So tell us what kind you had. If you don't mind, real quick, when you were diagnosed,
Yeah.
and then we'll get to the meat of the interview.
Yeah, no. So in 2016, I was 36 years old and it was April, and I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, stage 1A with clear cell carcinoma. And so I was very shocked, very surprised. Did not go to the doctor for that reason. I was actually having lower back pain and had been having that probably for a while, longer than I wanted to admit. I specifically remember that I was having lower back pain back in on Christmas Day in 2015, on December 25th. And um, that pain, I just remember being very miserable that Christmas Day, trying to enjoy being with family and the girls, and all those things. Like, I just couldn't sit down, I couldn't get comfortable. And then it went away. And so the rest of the, Christmas break, I didn't have that pain, but it would recur every month. And that makes sense knowing what I know now, that it was okay. It was being fed by the estrogen every time I had a cycle. Sorry if there are men on here. I'm just being very honest, all those things. But every time I had a cycle, it was feeding it the tumor, and it was growing. And so that's why I would have the lower back pain, just the position of the tumor. But I'm very thankful for medical doctors and just in the United States, just world renowned, just that there's medicine that allows us to do the things that needs to do, and God's placed those people around us to do those things, and people that are much smarter than I am by far, but they're in a place to help us when we are sick. It's a phone call no one ever wants, for sure, but it's one that you take, and you have two choices: you fold, you lay down, or you start fighting. And so
And you
I'm a
fought.
fighter. Yeah, I'm a fighter. Not always from the positive side. You could ask my husband, he would sometimes not like the fighter, but you fight, you fight. And so you fight with different weapons, different tools by far.
So when you were told that you had cancer, what was your treatment?
So I vividly remember where I was when the phone rang. It was 10 days after surgery. And I took the phone call on a cell phone. I mean, it's crazy, but cell phone. But I was in our bathroom, and my daughter was walking. My oldest daughter at the time, who was in third grade, was walking in and out, getting ready to go to a softball game, and she was trying to find her uniform. She's going in and out of the bathroom, and I remember the surgeon calling and just being very pointedly, you do have cancer. It is stage 1. You will have chemo, and it will be, over the course of the 6 months, and you will have it every 3 weeks, and you will lose your hair. And I couldn't speak. I was just crying. Having to take deep breaths. Obviously, you're scared. All those things, and then trying not to be scared because my daughter was running in and out. And try to be on a brave face. My husband was not home from work yet when I got the phone call. My mom was there at the house. I do remember that. But it's the phone call no one ever wants by far. And so he could tell I was real upset, the surgeon, and he was like, look, I'm going to let you go. He's like, and the nurse will call you back the next couple of days to schedule, when you're going to come in again, and all this all the above. Right. I had to then find an oncologist, or they, assigned you to an oncologist. And then it was when the port's going to be put in, and then I was still at home recovering from a full hysterectomy and 18 biopsies. So I was still in a lot of pain. And so just all the things, but my treatment was that. So, I mean, he told me then that, it would be every 3 weeks. I would have 6 rounds over the course of 6 months. And so I appreciated the bluntness. I'm glad it wasn't like, oh, hey, how are you doing? Okay, well, it's good to, how are you feeling? We got your passport back, and do you have anybody with you? So I just want to let you know, like, he just gave it to me. And looking back, I appreciate that. So
I'm glad they gave you what you needed, because I know everybody's a little different.
yeah, no, he told me, the surgeon
Mhm.
told me what I was gonna have. He told me I could have other options. He's like, you can go and get a second opinion, but anywhere you go, this is what they're gonna tell you,
Mhm.
because your cancer, was aggressive.
So during your chemo treatments, what side effects did you have? I mean, we know you lost your hair, but what other side
Yeah,
effects?
so I
Physical
lost
side
my
effects.
hair. Yeah, I had lost my hair. My taste buds, very it's true, very metallic-y. Um, my cravings, I guess you could say, were changed. I mean, I wasn't doing a lot of sweets then anyway. But like things, I remember sharing this yesterday with someone else who's going through the same thing kind of right now. And she's telling her that like things that were normally spicy, they were really spicy to me. So my taste buds changed, fatigue, tiredness, a little bit of nausea. The Lord was very kind. I never threw up. No one likes throwing up, but and I know that's a major side effect, but like I never threw up with chemo. And to me that was a win. Just even nauseous, like I didn't spend a lot of days being nauseous, and I know that's not always the case. Um, I did lose weight, but I mean, I've gained that back. That I was never too low that they were like, oh, well, you can't get your treatment now. I didn't drink Ensure or any of that. At the time, I was drinking P96. If anybody, I love the P96 shakes. That was my breakfast every morning, sometimes my lunch, but especially that with spinach in it, with blueberries and strawberries, and even carrot juice. And so that was my morning. I had this morning routine, and that was my every day. That's what what I had. And even the tummy issues that typically come along with chemo. I mean, if you've ever been with anybody before or watched somebody go through chemo treatments, that they tell you all the same side effects. You could lose your hair. You can have sores in your mouth, and they'll bleed, right? And you could have diarrhea, or you could throw up, or you could be constipated, or you could do this. And so, um, all of them are the same because we're putting poison in our body because we want to live, like we want to live. Um, and so with those things, um, the Lord was very kind. The people praying, Sunday school, the people I haven't even met, like all the things. But then there are some very parallel things too, just with Plexus products. I continue to take the probiotic, the X Factor, and the BioCleanse every day. While I was getting treatment from the time that I was first diagnosed, and I've been on those products, what I mean, 2 years maybe prior. And so, I remember talking to another fellow friend, but also Plexus person, and she's like, Joy, she's like, just think the Lord allowed these products to do what they're supposed to do, right? With the BioCleanse. It's not just the magnesium that helps you be regular, but it also doesn't allow certain cells to grow. And so it encapsulates them, right? It cuts off the oxygen supply to those things. And so, very, very thankful, for those things. I would drink a slim every now and then, but, I, and it wasn't even that I didn't want the energy or anything like that. Active wasn't really then around then. But because of the surgery, they wanted me to come off everything. And I was like, okay. And so I just came off the slim. I did not come off the BioCleanse or the probiotic. I was like, I'm not doing that. Not at all. And so just for different reasons, if you've ever had surgery or major surgery, that all the drugs, they're not just gonna freely leave your body at all. And so I was like, no, I don't want to have that issue on top of another issue, on top of another issue. And so super thankful, for those things. But those side effects, I used a mouthwash, you know, um, to help prevent the sores. And then I know several people, that have those, but really fatigue, tiredness, sleep, a little bit of nausea. Round 4 and 5 were much harder than, 5 and 6 were much harder than 1 through 4 because it's the compound effect. They're building on top of building. So my first 1 through 4 treatments, it was, I would be tired for like 2.5 days. 6 and 5, I was tired for a week. But the best thing about that feeling is that you were so close to finishing. Like I could get through 5 and spend a week in the bed because I knew I only had one more left.
You saw the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. And then
Mhm.
6, it didn't matter how bad I felt because it wasn't going to last forever. It wasn't
Mhm.
going to last forever.
Yes.
So, but yeah, it's
That's a lot. That's a lot. And you know what? I'm real thankful though that, some people after their first treatment, they just feel terrible. And it is just a hurricane of symptoms. And so I'm so glad that yours w- weren't as bad as they could have been, even though
Right. No.
I'm so sorry that you had to go through that at all. Speaking about products, if you knew ahead of time that you were going to be diagnosed with cancer, what is one product that you think, I know, hindsight's
Yeah.
2020, but what's one product, if you knew you're going to be diagnosed, what do you think is one product that you wish you would have started sooner to help you through your cancer journey and make your recovery a little bit easier?
There was only one product, and that's really hard because our products are just great. Yeah, I'm sorry, they're great. Like they're all good. They're all top notch. But I would probably say the probiotic, and here's why. Um, Gut health is so much more important now than what it was. I mean, soon to be 6 years ago, which is pretty wow, surreal when I say that out loud. 6 years ago, but the probiotic to kill all the candida and overgrowth, because more and more people are being diagnosed with cancer, more and more people. And I know that the Lord is in control, and I believe that he is sovereign and all of those things. And then there's my responsibility too, right? Like, what am I doing? But I do just think we have to stop and ask ourselves, what is going on? Why is this becoming like the common cold? Why is it becoming so rampant? What is it? What's going on? And so what has really changed? Okay, technology's changed. The food and the way we process food has changed. And I'm not a farmer. Um, I'm one of 5 girls. And no, organic wasn't a thing when we were growing up. Like I ate what was on my plate. And if I didn't eat it, I wasn't getting fed. I ate, like I ate. And so it was bananas. It wasn't organic bananas. It was bananas. It wasn't, organic grapes, no pesticides. It was just grapes. So I think about that. I was also severely asthmatic as a young child. It's pretty wild that I'm a PE teacher now and played sports and all this kind of stuff, but I was severely asthmatic. And so um, even just being sick and all the medicine that I was on when I was really young, really young. And so having that probiotic to go along with everything else to help clean out the gut. Our happiness is in our gut. What are we putting in? What's staying in? What's not coming out? All those things. So I would say if I had to pick one, man, I wish I'd been on a probiotic all my life, all 42 years. Wish I'd been on a probiotic all my life.
Me too. Knowing what I know now, I tell you, I wish I'd known this. You're exactly right. When I was
Yeah,
growing up, we didn't know what we didn't know,
we didn't. We didn't know. We didn't know. We didn't know. By
Speaking
far.
of being kids, let's talk about your kids real quick. What has
Yeah.
been your biggest parenting challenge through your
Yeah.
treatment and into recovery?
Yeah. So um, I would say during treatment was just trying to be, and there's different seasons, but I just felt this presence from the Lord of um, trying to shield them from different things, but really trying to let them walk through it with me. My youngest was in kindergarten, so I don't feel like she was going to remember a lot. My oldest was right there, third grade going into fourth grade. It was the end of third grade, but just trying to be upfront with them, and to let them know that like I was going to be okay. But my struggle then was to not be sad every time I was with them. And what I mean by that is like, we don't know what we don't know. And even though when I ask my husband now, my husband's very quick to be like, I never thought you were going to die. Never, never thought you were going to die. That never, not once. I'm like, okay, I'm glad that you did it, and that's kind of like the end of it because yes, I did. There's part of me that, yes, how do you know what you don't know and all those things. And so it was trying not to always be sad, in the beginning. Not that they didn't see me cry, but knowing the balance of that, when to do that, when not to do that. But I remember me losing my hair. That was a really big deal. That was the week of VBS. And I remember showering that morning. And when I was washing it, like, I mean, and just rinsing out the soap and the conditioner, just gobs came out. And so I knew that that was the day. The Lord sends people to walk with you through hard seasons, and kind of, one cancer patient would, for another cancer patient, would tell you, like, it's not your story, my story. They may be similar, but they're not the same. Everybody's story is different. And how people handle it is different. Like, it's different. But if I can, share my story with you, and that gives you hope or encouragement, then it's worth it. I mean, it just is. It's worth it. The world needs more hope and encouragement.
And we are so thankful that you are willing to give that to us.
Yeah. I just remember that my hair coming out. So I remember prepping them. And so trying to be real honest with them about the things and not trying to hide it from them. So I would say that when it came to parenting them then, and then probably now coming out of it, and even then I'll say this, to not embarrass them. And what I mean by that is, like, I had a wig, but I was getting my treatments in the summer, and summer in Alabama is really hot. And just I was going to the ballpark a lot because my oldest was playing ball and I wanted to show up, but making sure I just was like, it wasn't just me and how I felt. It wasn't about me, but it was also like, how does it make you feel if mommy's not wearing her wig? What does it do to you? Do I need to keep it together and have it on and wear it, or can I be free and be me? And so it was a tug, it's push and pull. It was a little bit of both, and understanding. And so now I would say just allowing, just asking my kids questions about that to see if they've tucked any of those emotions down, to see if they don't need to help just processing those things now that they're older. My oldest still gets very teary eyed. Like, I went last week for a checkup, not even cancer, but just normal doctor checkup. And I got a text, what did the doctor say? So they're aware. So I would say that that's been the hardest thing, and not giving way to fear, trying to teach my girls not to give in to fear. Though he slayed me, yet I will still praise his name. And so regardless of what comes my way, and even for them, just remind them of truth. So I would say that those are the parenting struggles, if I'm being very vulnerable, has been, though the world gives way, he will not be moved. He will not be moved. And so, I would say just pointing them back to truth, because those emotions are real and they felt those things and all those things. And bet we could all now sit here and name 5, 10 people we know that have cancer easily. And they're walking that same road, older kids, young kids, grown kid, whatever. But I think the parenting, it wasn't the discipline or this or that. And people show up and do things with your kids to keep your kids entertained. But it was also, what, life is not always easy. And I don't think kids are hearing that enough today. It's just not always easy. And life's not going to always go my way. And so how do I respond in the midst of adversity? And that's a story for everybody. Mm-hmm. Everybody needs to know that, that's the number one question. How do I respond when things don't go my way? How do I respond when I get that news? You can have your moment by far, but you can't just give in. Can't give in, cave. Excuse me.
So. Well, I love that message, the message that you're able to share with your kids, because they need to hear that we have hope in the Lord, that he is our anchor. Yep. Amen. That. And, awesome. Kind of off that hope in the Lord that you give your kids, my next question would be, what advice would you give to friends and family of cancer patients? Yeah. So a friend or a family of someone who has cancer, what would you say to them?
I was hearing today on the radio, and it was a Christian radio station, and they were talking about how everybody just feels heavy. Every situation just feels heavy right now. And talking about, how do you let somebody know you're being there for them without just saying, hey, are you okay? Instead of just, are you okay? I'm here. But it's like, hey, when you are ready to cry, when you're ready to laugh, when you need someone to listen to you, will you please let me know? Like, I'll show up and be there for you. I think showing up for people, cards with messages, like dropping a card, like who gets mail anymore, right? But dropping cards with messages is huge. But I would say, giving them space to process and to think. But it's the little things, my Sunday school class, man, my very first treatment, I had no idea they were doing this, but like I had a basket and it was just cards of encouragement. My very first treatment, which lasts, it's the longest treatment because they go very slow. Making sure your body doesn't, just totally flip to everything it's getting. But that, notes of encouragement versus someone shared with me that every time someone sent me a card in the mail or a text or whatever, and they shared a verse with me, that I take it's those highlighter, but it's like a glide highlighter, and underline it and then put their name by it. So that now when I'm going through my Bible, I pray for those people with the verse that they, and so my Bible, it just different things, different pages, it's pink. And I'm like, oh, it's pink. Well, that was a verse during, when I was sick. And then as I flip that verse, I'm like, oh, that's so-and-so. And this is what she did for, that this is how she prayed for me. And this is what she did. And okay, let me pray for her now. So I think that's really cool. I would say if you don't have a relationship with the Lord, I would say ask questions, one, but then two, if that is not what you're seeking, and so you get hard news, I still think it's very valuable to join a support group with other people who are walking through the same thing as you, so that you have somebody to talk to. I think that's one thing that I probably somewhat regret on this side of it, that in the midst of it, I mean, I was still trying to teach school and show up and all this kinds of stuff. And then it was summer, but like I didn't get plugged into a support group. And now looking back, I kind of wish I would have, because no one else to my right or my left could relate to me. And everybody's kind, and that's not a mean thing to say. That's not like, oh, you're not enough. That's not it. It's just that no one can talk to me about being 36 years old, waking up to a hysterectomy, losing your hair, not being able to have any more kids, not getting any hormones, and you feel like this. I mean, I'm very blessed. I'm one of 5 girls, but none of them can talk to me about those things because they're not there yet. And so people have empathy and listen and walk the road with you. But man, how would it have helped me process and digest things had I been around other people, other women who had that same story and things that they found that helped them? I'm still looking for that book that once you finish, what do you do then? Like once you finish chemo and once you, 6 years later, what do you do? I'm still looking for that book, because there's nothing that says what you do next. There's plenty of people telling you what to do while you're getting treatments. You got plenty of guidelines and rules and regimens and all that. But once you're done, you're done. And so it's like, what do I do? They're like, go live. What do you mean? How do I do that? And so it's just a change. And it was a struggle on that side of things once I finished. So I would say a support group for sure, and then encouragement. And then when the time is right, when you're willing, share your story.
How do you think sharing your story has affected you on this side of cancer?
It's a sweet reminder from the Lord always that He has been kind and good to me, and that I can never, ever, ever question whether He loves me or not. Not Lisa, because I'm still alive, not because I'm still on this earth, but because of the moments that He sent people around me. And there are deep, deep moments. And they're in my journal and all those things of just the Lord's hand was in the middle of all of this for me. From the week before I went to the doctor, from the sermon that I heard, to pointedly questions that I was asking the Lord before I got my news, all these things. But now He's given me a hope. And if my story points anyone to Jesus, it's worth it. It's worth it. And that excites me, that, opportunities to share. what the Lord has done, and all those things and what these products have done, that makes me really happy. It's joyful for me. I know that's no pun intended there, but it's joyful to be able to look someone else and say, you're going to make it too. You're going to make it. You're going to make it. You can do hard. You can do hard for sure.
Wow, I feel like I just read the Joy Bragen book right there. Like I feel like you've been writing this book for 6 years, probably before, and you may not have even known it, but the walk
Yeah.
that you have with the Lord as a parent, and it is definitely encouraging to me. I mean, I'm an easy crier anyway, so, but still, the sweetness that you have with your relationship with the Lord, and that you do truly want others to come to know that as well, whether they go through cancer or whether they go through something different. Hardships are all around us and they come in different forms. And the fact that you so eloquently can let us know that the Lord is there for us no matter what we go through, cancer, you know, death,
Yep.
a family member, a friend in a different way. There's lots of tragedies and people walking through it right now. And so,
There are.
so I'm so thankful that you shared your story, and
Yeah.
you always do such a sweet, humble, gracious job.
No.
I don't know why my words are failing me tonight, but we're thankful for you, and I'm thankful for your friendship. And thank you for just being honest with everybody about what you struggle with, because life isn't perfect. And just like you told your kids, there's no guarantees in life. Life is hard.
Yeah.
And how are we going to react when the hard times come? Because
Right.
the Lord says, my burden is easy and my yoke is light. He didn't say, you follow me and all your troubles will be erased.
No,
You
no,
know, he says it'll be easier.
that's right.
And so, yeah, so we're thankful for that reminder through you. And so thank you for coming on.
No, thanks for having me. And all that to say too, like Plexus is such a huge part of my story because like I said, it was a P96 shake every single morning. It was BioCleanse and probio and then X Factor. Like I didn't quit taking the X Factor, and I attribute my hair and all of those things back to the X Factor, because even come round like 6, I was starting to have like peach fuzz on my head. Like it's almost like your hair loss is like the initial reaction from all the chemo. And then once you get that first round, yes, it continues, obviously it's there, but like around 5 and 6, like I had peach fuzz, like my hair started growing back. And it was a little bit longer than this before, I lost it all, but like, you wouldn't know that. Like, that's the whole thing, is like, you don't know. You've just got the port scar and the metal taste still and different things like that. But the bad, the hard, like the good outweighs all that, like to have hair. Is my hair thinner? Sure. But nobody else knows that but me. Like nobody else knows that but me. Does it hold the color as well as it used to? No, not at all. It doesn't. That's just part of it, but it's okay. It's okay. I have eyebrows. I lost my eyebrows. Like I didn't have like any hair, dry skin. Like I'm just so thankful for even the beauty counter products now that have come out, with Plexus, the Joy and all those things, because chemo dries everything out, your eyes, if you wear contacts, like your skin, your lotion. So all these things are compounding in effects. And so with that, I'm so thankful for Plexus and that it's a health and wellness company and the products, because I do think that my journey would have been harder and more difficult were it not for those products.
So what I'm hearing is you are saying that Plexus was a godsend as far
Oh yeah, like
you had to turn to
totally.
some kind of product. You're glad it was this.
Yes, no, totally 100%. Because if you think about it now, if you're sick and you go to the doctor, they just give you they just give you medicine and give you medicine. And it just always, but like nothing's ever helping that medicine get out. And so the way you get rid of anything, toxins, chemo, anything, is like you sweat it out, you throw it up, you urinate it, or you poop it out. That's the only way. Like those are the only 4 ways that anything leaves your body. And so when you're getting a drug that is poison, I'll just be honest, it's poison. Okay. And you're getting that. What is it that, and it's depleting you, and it's wanting to kill every cell in your body. And then it's wanting your body to make new cells that don't have any cancer in them. What is it that's going to sustain you? Yes, Jesus. Yes, yes, Jesus. Okay. Yes, family, yes, friends. But like when it comes down to it, you don't feel like eating a salad when you're getting chemo all the time. Just you don't, you know. You may need that French fry to help out, balance some different things, and so you're also playing a mental game with yourself and all kinds of stuff. So I'm just super thankful that I could go to the bathroom without any complications on either side of that. And that's a huge win. And people don't talk about that because no one wants to talk about anyone pooping. And I am so thankful that I did not have diarrhea, nor was I constipated. Like that is painful by far. And people live like that. People live like that. And then if you tell your doctors while you're getting chemo that's happening, they're just going to give you another medicine. They're just giving you another medicine on top of another medicine. Before you know it, you're taking 10 and you don't even know how you got there. So if I could take something that's what I consider over the counter, because you can get it that way, Plexus, it's that easy, then I'm taking that. Taking that by far. So
That's a good point, because all the toxins that they're pumping in, they kill the good and the bad. How are you going to get out the bad,
right.
So that's a good point.
It's true. It's true.
I know that people have gained some good tips from listening to you tonight, both spiritually, physically, emotionally. And so we are so thankful because you actually taught me. I mean, I've been a nurse for 22 years, but I'm not an oncology nurse,
Right. Yeah.
So
No.
everybody needs to hear this.
It's a lot. Don't give
from someone who's actually been through it,
Yeah, no, I mean, talk to different people. The minute you go to the oncologist and you get your first round, they've given you Benadryl to make sure you don't have a reaction to it. Okay. Then they're sending you home with a steroid and anti-nausea medicine. And sometimes a third medicine as well, just to make sure that you don't get like an infection. And then they're going to tell you to take it. And, you have as many refills as you need, all kinds of stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'd rather not take any of those, but thank you. Which one do I have to take? Which one are you telling me I have to take? And some of those make you feel worse, but you have to know your body. That's my other thing I would say. Know your body, and don't be afraid to stand up and say no. It took me, I was trying to do the right thing and listen to the doctors and take all the medicine they were telling me, and I just felt worse. And so finally by the end, I was like, okay, I'm not taking this or this. And they just stared at me. I was like, all that after that makes me feel horrible. I'm not taking more. I'm not taking more. I'm done. I took the chemo. I did that. I'm not taking anything else. So I would say know your body. Know your body for sure. So.
That's a good tip. Good word.
Yep.
Hey girl, thank you.
Thank you.
I look forward to having you back on, but not to talk about cancer. We'll talk
Sounds
about
great.
fun.
Sounds great. Talk about something else. That's right. A different product.
Yes,
I
for sure. Well, thank you, sweet friend. And we will see the rest of you guys back for another Wellness Wednesday next week.
Sounds great. Bye.
Bye.